Hello all sentient beings and welcome to the Transmissions Podcast, where we talk all Hasbro, Takara, and third-party Transformers! On this episode of Transmissions, we do a roundup of all the important toy news to come out of San Diego Comicon, including Transformers Cyberverse, Transformers Generations, and Transformers Generations Siege. Today is Wednesday, July 25th, 2018, and this is episode 287 of Transmissions.
Welcome to Transmissions, the podcast that can't agree on a funny intro. I'm your host, Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Yusuf, better known as Yoshi.
Yo!
Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, how you doing?
Mike, the world's snazziest editor.
Hey, everyone.
And Daryl, the Cybertronian beast.
Hello. Let's talk Transformers.
All right, we're back, and we have a full house. We have everyone here. It's really cool. This is a rare treat because we don't usually have the whole team together. So welcome, everyone. We're all recovered from TFCon and SDCC, all mashed up together. So we've got lots of stuff to talk about. And of course, we got to start off with those lovely Donatreons. They're called Donatreons. They're not called that other word.
That the people that only listen to this show wouldn't know anything that you're talking about.
Well, most people listen to both shows, so that's okay.
You're assuming a lot.
Listen to Alt Mode last week, or rather don't listen.
Do listen. We need the downloads.
All right. Well, so we got some thanks for some Donatreons who have upped their pledges. These guys are awesome. These guys have either doubled or more than doubled their pledges, and I believe they're both listening right now. So, got a shout out to Brandon and Dr. Pants, or should I say Dr. Reginald C. Pants III, Esquire.
That is a $5 name, Jesus.
You guys are great. Thanks for upping your pledges. We hope you're enjoying this and you enjoy the show tonight. So keep listening, and we're going to have some fun. You guys are great.
So's your money.
And Brandon and Dr. Pants, you were already entered into the 5-year mega contest that we have coming up. That's there's still time to enter it for anyone who is not currently a Donatreon. But you guys are, so you're good.
It's the 5-year contest. Does that mean that, like, let's say Dr. Reginald Pants V wins, then does that mean he has to maintain his Donatreon status for 5 years before we can send him the prize?
I'm going to say yes.
Okay. I wanted to be sure about that. There was some confusion in the fine print that doesn't exist.
Yeah, we send the prizes in the 10th year anniversary. That's when the prizes get shipped off.
Chad also upped his pledge. Charles, I thought we had mentioned it last week, so I didn't put it in.
You did mention it last week.
I did? It wasn't in the doc.
Well, we mentioned it again. Thanks, Chad. Yeah. We appreciate it. You doubled your pledge. And you're in the you got your pledge all the way into the duly appointed enforcer of the Transmissions podcast. So you have now got 2 entries into the mega contest.
And if we mentioned you last week, you need to up your donation by $1 because that's not fair to the rest of the guys.
So thanks everyone, and so the 5-year contest that's coming. We still got time to enter till the 31st. July 31st is when the cutoff is. So everyone who enters, get your chance in to win those contests, win those prizes. Go to transmissionspodcast.com/5-year, the number 5 and year, and that is where you'll see all the prize packs. There's lots of awesome stuff there, so be sure to check it out, including a Masterpiece Megatron, a Masterpiece Sunstreaker, a Titans Return RC, lots of comics, lots of good stuff.
And a Pez dispenser.
Several Pez dispensers. I believe three prize packs have Pez dispensers.
You guys are so lucky.
I'm just grateful that I have my 5 entries in there, right, guys? Right? Yeah.
You're ineligible when it comes.
But on the other hand, Cassie is also ineligible.
Canceling Patreon now. Okay.
You're going to see a quality hit in our editing, gentlemen.
We also have those new shirts. I believe we mentioned our Tape Man shirts, so you can still pick those up at transmissionspodcast.com/shop.
Which were designed by Mike.
Yes.
Definitely. It was
Thank you, Mike.
It was a really kind of cool thing.
We're just mentioning that, Mike, for Hasbro Legal. It has nothing else to do with anything. We're not trying to thank you. We're just making sure they know where the attention needs to go.
I gotcha.
Well, Yoshi,
I gotcha.
we have Mike here. Yoshi, would you like to complain to Mike about how he wasted time designing the shirts when he should have been editing the show? That's a complaint you've had multiple times.
It's as if you're looking for an excuse to throw me under the bus.
No one needs an excuse for that.
Yeah, I've got several reasons to throw you under the bus. I'm just doing it.
Charles just driving the bus.
You know, every week that you're on the show and I'm on the show, I am so nice to your face. And then you decide not to show up one week and you're just being mean to my face.
Yeah, decided not to show up because I was at TFCon and I got lots of video for you. You're welcome.
You made a conscious choice to not come. And I'm not I'd make the same choice. I have made the same choice. You
made the same choice every other week.
Yes. We are eventually going to start the show, people. As soon as Charles gets this out of his system. He's replaced all his lost weight with rage.
I'm guessing this is all going to be cut out. But anyway.
I don't know, Mike, is it?
I'll have to see how the rest of the show goes.
All right.
And how nice you are to me.
Love you.
All right. Well, let's jump into the toy news because we got lots of it. And yes, San Diego Comicon. That's all we're here to talk about. So, Daryl, take it away.
All right. I guess I'm just going to dive in here. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. The first thing up on the screen here for me is Bumblebee the movie toy images, and not so bad actually. The first real toy we see from the movie is, guess what, Bumblebee, and they're showing him off here in what will be his studio series figure. I believe it's Deluxe class, but it does turn into a the Volkswagen Beetle that we see in the movie, and it doesn't look half bad. Very G1 yellow. I don't think it looks half bad at all. The mold itself, like the car mode, has got some weathering done on it. And I believe we heard multiple times through multiple different interviews with John Warden that a lot of the, if not all of the figures in the Bumblebee movie series will have some sort of weathering done on them. And that's kind of cool. That's new for Transformers for a line-wide gimmick. I guess it's a stretch to call it a gimmick, but it's, because, we had Squeaks had weathering done on him the last movie, but we've seen weathering done before, but to see an entire line have it done, that's kind of interesting. But so this is pretty cool. So we're looking at this here. This bunch of pictures does show off one of the exclusives for the San Diego Comicon, which ended up being Retro Pop Highway Volume 2 set. And that is the same figure of the Volkswagen Beetle done up in like a gold paint. But now we've got those same dinosaur cassettes that we saw before that everyone was freaking out about, me included. And they're now done in much more G1 colors. So... so that's pretty cool to see. And then we've got a statue as well. It might be a Camaro so there's a Camaro there as well. It's kind of hard to see. The pictures aren't focusing in on the Camaro one.
Well, the Camaro, I think, is part of the Then and Now 2-pack.
Oh, okay, cool. So taking a look here, there's a picture of a giant Bumblebee as well. There's a leather jacket. Yeah, that doesn't mean anything. Taking a look at this studio series, guys, this is one figure from the movie line. We did end up seeing more, and we'll touch on that in a couple more slides. But Bumblebee movie is going to have a Bumblebee figure. What do you think of the one that they showed off here?
I think it looks pretty good. It definitely looks like the what we saw in the trailer of the movie. So it seems to match pretty close to what the character is going to look like on the screen. At least at the deluxe size. I mean, it's definitely better than the Camaro that's in the Volume 1, the exclusive. You know, is that a Studio Series too?
Yeah, it looks like it. If we're looking at the same thing, it's the Then and Now 2-pack, which Jeremy had alluded to there. So that's the Camaro and the one of the Bay movie designs. Yeah.
So I definitely like this. You know, like this one better than the Camaro design. Of course, you know, if you know, just being the harken back to G1, I wish they could have worked it to make it a little bit more like the original the G1 design. You know, where the front of the car is the feet. You know, that's just my nostalgia brain kicking in, but I think it's a good looking toy.
Yeah,
I do think it's funny. We see the inability of the people that set up these displays to transform things properly, because that Studio Series one, you can see the head and part of the arm underneath the vehicle mode. The gold one, which is the same toy.
Yeah,
you don't see those in the car mode.
Oh,
so obviously it can be hidden. It's just not transformed well. So I think that's funny every time I see a mistransformation on these displays. I do like how they use some of the other windows to kind of bend down to form more of a wing effect.
Okay, yeah.
I think that's a neat little thing I haven't really seen before. I mean, we've seen the upper, the doors kind of being the upper wings, and I thought that was a nice little touch.
Yeah, to touch on the mistransformations, they have to get so much ready in such a short amount of time. Yeah. I mean, I don't fault them for it. I'd wish that they got it right more than not, but I don't hold it against them. These things are prototypes as well. Like a lot of them are they're test. You know, they're not retail versions, right? So,
but you would think that for some of these that they're not going to be taken out of the cases.
Yeah,
get them right and glue them together.
Yeah,
so they don't move.
I wonder if the design team, like John Warden, walks around and he looks at it and says, "Oh shit."
I'm sure he does, but it's what are you going to do?
Yeah. All right. Yoshi, Mike, did you guys have comments on these?
I like the gold bug one the most.
Okay.
I'm going to echo Yoshi on that one. Yeah, I do like the gold echo on that. It looks pretty good. I like that it doesn't have the weathering on it as well. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, that's probably. I probably wouldn't mind the yellow one if it didn't have weathering on it.
Okay. So guys don't think a line full of weathered vehicles is appealing?
Weathering is one of those weird things where it can look good if it's done well, but with Transformers, pieces shift and things move around. So if you do weathering on the car bottom and the car front where you would expect weathering to happen, once you start transforming it, you have weird weathering patterns all over the bot mode. And that just it looks like an incorrectly painted figure, or they mess something up, even though that's exactly what it would look like if it were in real life. I think if you are going to go that road, you really need to do weathering on the vehicle mode and on the bot mode, kind of in separate places. But it's really tough to do on a Transformer.
Okay.
I just want to say I'm not a fan of the weathering either. I like for toys, I like them to be relatively clean, just so you can if you're playing with them, you can put them in the dirt if you want to weather them a little bit. I think
we're like a bunch of old men whose kids just came back from the mall with pre-ripped jeans.
All right, well, let's move on to I'm going to skip a few here on the list, boys, and I'm going to go straight to Studio Series Bumblebee Vision and Helmet official images. So we've got a bunch of images of stuff that they've got coming out. Some of it's just normal stuff that you're going to expect to see, with regards to, new movies and a new line. We've got the helmet, which has B Vision, I guess, whatever that is.
It looks like that's like a VR type thing where you stick your phone in the helmet.
Oh, yeah, that is. It's a phone that goes in there. Okay, I gotcha. Mainly this whole slideshow here is about the figures and their official images. We get to see some new toys for the Studio Series that will be in the Bumblebee movie for the first time, and that's going to be Dropkick, and I guess they've got here Shadow Rider and KSI Sentry, and those are some new figures we've never really seen before. Dropkick is apparently he's one of the figures that is in that new trailer that we just saw kind of come out. Well, I think we'll discuss Dropkick a little bit more in alt mode, I think, this week. But he's a helicopter here, and he looks pretty good. They've got the KSI Sentry. He's from Age of Extinction, but I'm spacing on the car that he's supposed to transform into here, and it's bothering me that I can't remember what kind of car he is here. But he's a cool, fast sports car. And then we've got Deluxe class Shadow Rider, also from Age of Extinction, and he's a Lamborghini Rebenton.
Shadow Raider.
Sorry, Rider. But he really does look an awful lot just like a repaint of Lockdown. So yeah, I think he probably is a repaint of Lockdown.
And I think the KSI Sentry is a repaint of Stinger from that line.
Oh yeah, I can see that then. Yeah.
Which we didn't really get many Stingers over here, did we?
Oh, they're in the stores in Walmart over here.
Well, okay, in the U.S. Wasn't I remember that was one that was not really in wide distribution.
I saw it a couple of times, but it certainly wasn't widespread as some of the earlier stuff.
I've seen a Stinger a couple times and thought, oh, there's, why don't I pick one of him up? But again, I'm sticking to my guns on the no more movie toys stuff. So again, and just to finish off this list of stuff, we've got Voyager class Ironhide in his 07 mode. He kept that mode for 3 movies, but whatever. And then we've got Deluxe class Ratchet they're referencing Dark of the Moon for his mode here. And they also reference Bumblebee from Bumblebee movie. So
why couldn't Dropkick have been named World?
Really? I mean, it's right there. It's even the same.
You got the color scheme.
Color, come on.
It doesn't matter if he was a Decepticon. I mean, no one would care.
No, it is close. It's really close, right?
Yeah.
So you got to know that something like that's coming. I totally get that. Bumblebee movie has an issue with names, I think, but we'll get into that again more in alt mode. Out of these 6 figures, guys, anybody seeing anything that kind of stands out that they want to discuss a little bit more, or do you want to move on?
A quick word on the Dropkick.
Okay.
The actual stock images look pretty good, but the photos that I've seen of it in person do not look that great.
All right. Anything particular that's standing out? Is it just the paint? Because, I mean, those are obviously hand-painted, obviously.
It might be that. I think it was more just the kind of very spindly nature of the figure that doesn't really come off in the stock images.
Okay.
It does look like the hands have a transformation that doesn't really... It'd be easy to mistransform or not lock in.
Yeah. All right.
Love the vehicle mode for it, though.
It's a sexy vehicle mode. That helicopter. Mm-hmm. I'm not a helicopter expert, but that looks official in some capacity.
For helicopter expertise, you're listening to the wrong podcast.
It's true. I'm looking at the images of those on the floor right now, and really they only show Dropkick. So I see the spindly nature that you're talking about there, Mike. It does look a little spindly. Yeah, I'll give you that quite a bit. Nothing a few add-on kits might be able to fix. We got some official images of what Cyberverse is going to give us. So we've got an Optimus Prime. So, oh boy, surprise, surprise. And Optimus Prime's Scout class figure is only going to be able to hold a gun in one hand. He doesn't have a peg hole in the other hand. They go on to show us a Slipstream, Windblade. Those are both Scout class as well. Then they got an Ultra class, which looks to be like more of a flip changer. Is that what they've done with Ultra class now? They made them a flip changers. Shadow Striker, Ultra class Decepticon, Ultra class Shockwave. I was going to read the whole name there like an idiot. Now here we go with the Warrior class stuff. So they've kept the Warrior class name from the recent RID show, and they've gone on with they've got Acid Storm here, Megatron. Megatron looks cool as a big fucking tank, and Windblade. Windblade have 2 toys in this line? She does. Mm-hmm. That's redundant.
Megatron does as well.
Yeah, they have a bunch of toys in different size classes.
Oh, wait, he doesn't.
No, I didn't see the other ones, but yeah, I guess in the first wave though they have two wind blades in the first wave. Seems a little crazy.
Oh,
At least there's Decepticons.
Windblade?
No, they're
It's Windblade.
No, I said at least there's Decepticons in the line.
Oh yes, there are
yes.
Decepticons in the first wave. Yes, that's right. We will. That's a prelude to a discussion we're about to have in a minute. Cyberverse stuff again is not targeted at us. The show might be a little fun, but it's again targeted at kids. Any comments on the Cyberverse stuff? Anybody see anything that they're kind of excited about? Slipstream Scout Class and Windblade Scout Class look like remolds of each other. I'm not surprised that that's the case.
I do like that that Megatron has his Energon mace or on his hand.
I think that's it's definitely supposed to be the case, but I think it's just a plug-on the fist. It's like his fist becomes a mace of some kind. It's just a spiky ball over top of the fist.
That's kind of how it was in the cartoon way back. I mean, it's not a ball and chain, it's just a ball.
Yeah. That fusion cannon's a fucking weapon. Like that's a huge fucking weapon.
I require my Optimus Prime action figures to dual wield.
Yeah.
I love that we're getting Acid Storm.
Yeah.
It is, the Seeker mold is going to be redone in this series, but I love that they're going with non-traditional ones like Acid Storm. They've created a new one. Slipstream has existed, but we're getting new uses of that mold to kind of not get the same things over and over.
I too like the color green.
When you put out Acid Storm, it technically doesn't qualify. Kind of make the guys at Hasbro produce the other two to make the set, because Acid Storm really isn't part of a set. Now we know they're doing Starscream and Thundercracker, I believe, as the Seekers in this line, but they've said in the past that if we do one, we're going to do the rest of them. Yeah. If they were only throwing Acid Storm out there as the Seeker, Acid Storm doesn't have anybody else that kind of complements him as part of a
the Rainmakers are more of an unofficial type of team.
Right? But you could put Acid Storm out there by himself and say, there's your Seeker for this line. He doesn't really have anybody else, so you're done with him. But no, it's
I think, and since they've got Slipstream, I think since she's purple, she's kind of replacing Skywarp.
Yeah.
Since they've got too similar a color scheme, so probably won't see a Skywarp.
I think if this line goes, I mean, we're looking. I mean, Slipstream is Scout Class here so far,
but we're gonna get a Warrior Class.
Obviously. But if this line goes 3 waves, we'll probably get a Skywarp just to finish it off. I mean, it's an easy mold to do.
I'm wondering if in Japan they're going to release Slipstream as Skywarp. We've seen sometimes Takara uses different names for the same mold.
Really? You think they do that though?
I don't know. I mean,
it's a different mold completely.
It's a Seeker,
I guess.
It'll be interesting to see if that happens. I'm not saying they're going to or not.
All right. Anyway, I'm going to move on here unless anyone else has anything else about the Cyberverse stuff. Fantastic. Generations. A lot of this stuff is already on the shelves and you can go and buy it, so we're not going to spend a lot of time on here. But guess what? They showed off the new stuff that you can't get. So the Prime Wars Deluxe Blastoff, the Deluxe Repugnus, and the Deluxe Punch Counter Punch. And those were really cool to see pictures of, because a lot of people are clamoring over those. Now, Blastoff is a figure that is orderable right now. Well, if you can find them anywhere, and people have started receiving him. Repugnus and Punch Counter Punch, on the other hand, are not. They are pre-orderable, pretty difficult to find, real images of. So that's why we're taking a look at them here. I'm liking the look of Punch Counter Punch here. He looks pretty awesome. Repugnus, he looks like Repugnus. I am amazed that they're getting another use out of this same mold. I mean, sure, the top half is essentially a different body, but that bottom half is the same thing. But Punch Counter Punch, I'm really impressed with. The bot mode is great, or both bot modes are great, but that the alt mode is also very good. It's serviceable. It does exactly what you think you would want it to do. Anybody have any comments on those Prime Wars exclusives?
Yeah, I've pre-ordered the Punch Counterpunch, so I'm looking forward to that. I didn't collect the other monster bots, so I feel like I can't get this monster bot because I didn't get the other two. So, but I'm happy for the people who are collecting all 3 monster bots. I think it looks good.
Cool. Mike?
Got Repugnus and Punch Counterpunch on pre-order, and I'll have to find myself the other monster bot, the second one, the exclusive that was at what was the con that it was at last time?
Grotesque?
New York Comicon.
Yeah, that one.
You didn't
Grotesque?
You didn't get Grotesque?
Nope, I didn't.
It was on Hasbro Toy Shop. That's where we ended up getting it.
Yeah, and by the time I actually got up there to order it, it was gone.
Oh, Mike.
I know.
You got to let us know these things. Jeremy may place an order for everybody.
I placed an order for you because shipping to you would cost more than the toy.
That's true. Yes. And that's what Mike did for me for these ones. Yeah.
I tried to pre-order Blast Off for you, but that was out too.
Yeah. I'll find one.
Eventually.
So we also got a little bit more exclusives on this one. So we also see pictures of, I guess it was set 1. The set 1 that we all kind of lost our shit over when we first got looks at it. It was, I think it's called Punk Rock Garage Volume 1, and that's with the old Camaro in the gold paint, and then the same Dinobot cassettes with one with clear orange and the other one. So we saw that. We'll get pictures of that. Then we get pictures of King Optimus or King Primal or something like that. Throne of the Primes is what the official name was, but I'm calling him King Gorilla.
Boss Monkey.
Yeah, Boss Monkey.
Boss Monkey. That works too. And then we get pictures of Wave 3 of the Power of the Prime stuff. Now, a lot of this has started to hit. We're seeing Firestar. I don't think anyone's really gotten a hold of Firestar yet, not that I've heard. And Inferno and the Titan Masters, or Prime Masters, I guess they're, the Prime Masters. And the rest of Abominus, which a lot of people are starting to find now. Pretty much starting to show up everywhere.
Remember, due to trademarks, she's Nova Star. She's not Firestar, unfortunately.
Right. Whatever.
Because Firestar is a Teen Titan.
Gotcha. Predaking was also in this bunch of picks as well. Not a lot to mention on this, other than if anyone wants to talk about Nova Star, who is basically just who was the other one that we just got? Moonracer. Yeah, I've got her sitting over here too, and I didn't even see her. Who's basically just a recolor of Moonracer with a different face.
The colors do look good.
They do. They remind me of a Firestar bot.
I'm not making any other comments. The colors look nice though.
Okay.
The backpack is still super unfortunate. I mean, I have the Moonracer mold. I probably will get this one too, just to complete the female Autobot set. Mm-hmm. But that backpack is pretty bad.
It's not great.
Got to look at it only from the front.
She's getting ready to go for a hike.
All right. Let's jump into something that Yoshi can finally participate in. Walmart G1 reissue toys. So these are getting, shown off, and everywhere they're being shown as being described as vintage G1. And all of the huge nerds that we are, a lot of people are commenting saying, they're not vintage. The Bumblebee is using the head sculpt from the reissue from whatever year. And then they're, they push their glasses up with the one finger and blah, blah, blah. So
you have described me so perfectly that I commend you for paying attention.
I do. I know you. We hang out. And yeah, so anyway, somebody said about the Devastator set how it's going to cost them $75 or something like that for this, and how it's totally not worth $75. Or they're wanting to ask, why is it $75? Well, guess what? You're paying for nostalgia and the idea of opening this again. Anyway, Yoshi, I'm going to let you take it. We got Devastator in his gift pack here. We've got Bumblebee on the card. We've got Starscream in his box. Go.
I think for display purposes, the Devastator gift set is gorgeous. That's if you want to fool people and say you've got an immaculate Devastator gift set, this is the way to go. I think that's great. I recently got my vintage one, and I'm totally happy with it. So I really have no interest in this. With Bumblebee, I'm actually really stoked to have this because I kind of want this head sculpt. I don't have this head sculpt. I am turned off by the rub sign, but that's me. 90% of the populace isn't going to see that. It's going to stick out like a sore thumb to me. I'm curious why they did that. Is it just a second way to distinguish it from the original release? I don't know. But that head sculpt, I really want it. So I'm going to shoot for this. I'll probably grab all the mini bots just for fun. Starscream is probably the odd man out here. It's with the inclusion of the Megatron gun, I'm just turned off by it, honestly. I want a vintage thing. I want it to be exactly or as close to exactly as possible. And here you're throwing in shit. So I'm somewhat turned off about it. I think this is cool. I'm hoping to walk into my local Whamlard at some point and see these guys hanging out and take a shit ton of pictures. I just don't know why they didn't go for the complete vintage look, why they had to make the modifications that they did. And I'm sure everybody is scratching their head in my shoes that is looking at this. Because, for example, if I didn't have the Devastator gift set, I'd still be hunting for the original one. That's just me. When you're a kid and you see this shit on the store and you're just getting into toys for the first time, you're like, this stuff's going to be around forever. It's not seasonal. It's not going to go away at the next season of the television show or what. You don't realize that. And these guys are in a position where they can re-release it the way it was, and they got so close. And to a lot of people, these minor changes that they did is a giant big fuck you to them. So I don't know. I'm happy and I'm disappointed. I'm in the middle.
Well, I can tell you that as a fellow collector of G1 stuff and boxed G1 stuff, as you are, I'm happy that they've released it like this, because it makes, discerning the differences between the two a whole lot easier. I don't
Sure.
Yeah, I don't want to go into a con and say, I'm looking for a boxed Starscream. I've always wanted one. I want one. And somebody saying, oh, I got a pristine one here. Look at this thing. It's like it's right off the shelf. Well, guess what? It was. And it's not from the 80s. It's from 2018. Well, you can tell now from the box because the upper corners of the box, the little lip, are cornered, like they're now 90-degree angles, whereas the original boxes were rounded. Thank you. I forgot words for a minute there. And yeah, so Starscream, the figure himself, he may be a harder thing to distinguish, and that's
but it comes with the Megatron gun.
Yeah, but the figure himself.
Oh. Yeah, if you get it loose.
Yeah, so I mean, you could throw some G1 parts on them, and then there you go. You've got a figure that's a little bit more. I don't know if there's going to be a different stamp on there, but if somebody's trying to sell me a box that's different, well, guess what? It looks fucking different now. I can tell. The Devastator gift set, yeah, the Devastator gift set didn't have a lip to tell, but guess what? What it did have, the original had styrofoam on the inside. You look through these little windows here, there's no styrofoam, because it's like illegal to use now or something like that. They just can't use it. So they've just got them all tacked in there with those paper clips that they always use or whatever, the twist ties. And it's much more easier to distinguish. And the Bumblebee on the card, first of all, Bumblebee, didn't look like that with the head sculpt. The other ones, that might be a little bit more harder to distinguish, but I'm sure there's some way to tell. I think, Jeremy, you found a way to tell, another way with Bumblebee for sure, didn't you?
Well, yeah, this TFW story also has a picture of the back of the Bumblebee one, and it is now an officially licensed Volkswagen product. It only took 30 some odd years, and now they finally officially have a G1 Bumblebee that's licensed.
That's great.
And they all also have on the back the new authentic Transformers logo, so that's an easy tell as well.
That's easy for a contained figure like Bumblebee or the other mini bots, but I can see, I don't know, Daryl, could you run into an issue where you were trying to find the parts for Starscream and not know the difference between a vintage hand and a modern hand?
Yeah, you can. Sometimes it's very difficult. There are some hands that have little markings on them that are able to just help you distinguish which ones are which. But yeah, it gets really difficult. One thing on Seekers that's impossible are the landing gear, the front landing gear. There's no way to tell. Mm-hmm. There's no way to tell at all if that's vintage or from the re-release from the early 2000s. So yeah, I mean, you do your best to try and find the best parts that are around, but yeah, you can't. You're not going to win them all. I'm sure that some of the stuff that I've replaced is been replaced with re-release parts. It wasn't done on purpose.
Right. I guess you can't make everybody happy all the time.
No. So
personally, I'm excited to get these mini bots.
Yes. All right, let's move on from the vintage stuff, and we will jump right into well, no, let's save that. Right, we got one more thing, and this kind of
You're such a tease, Daryl. Such a tease.
I know. So, Flame Toys was at SDCC, and they showed off their painted prototype of Tarn, and this is the non-transforming. Is he articulated? I think he's articulated.
I think they are.
Yeah. So this guy's in the. He's figure number 2. Figure number 1 was Drift. These guys are expensive. Charles, you and I saw this guy at TFCon last weekend, but he was more of a in prototype colors. Now you got to look at him, right?
Let's say yes.
Okay. All right.
It's a bit of a blur, but maybe I saw it.
No, it's Tarn.
Oh boy.
Give yourself a rim shot, Jeremy.
It looks pretty good, and I like the colors that they picked on it. Flame Toys also brought the full gamut of what else they're bringing to the table. Figures that they've got on the upcoming. They've got a Bumblebee, which looks to me like he's got some kind of back issue. He's got a couple growths going on there. It's like a helicopter.
I hope they're guns or something.
He's got helicopter blades going on there. I don't know what's that all about.
He has a model kit too.
Is that a model kit?
Yeah, it says right below it.
I'm trying to see, but yeah. Oh, the model. Okay, yes, I see the close-up one there.
But yeah, still, what's the deal with the helicopter?
So Bumblebee's a helicopter car. Then they've got the Optimus Prime right next to him. These are 1/144th scale.
And that's specifically called out as IDW Optimus Prime.
Is it? Oh, cool.
It's small and small text beside his name, but yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's cool. The Optimus Prime looks pretty good as IDW Optimus Prime, and that's neat. I like that. Then on the other side, they've got I guess these are also model kits. So yeah, these are different model kits. These are much more of the I don't know what the style is on these. We had a style from before, but there is a name for it.
The super deformed stuff?
No. The super skinny waisted.
More anime
stuff. Optimus, he looks, let's just say, Japanese. And Starscream has fallen over. He's having issues standing. But Starscream out of this whole line, I think, actually still looks the part, because Starscream's always had that. I mean, his personality is very effeminate, especially in the modern comics. He could actually pull this look off in modern comics or modern fiction. So I don't mind this look on him at all. Then you've got the super deformed stuff, and they're adorable. I like them all quite a bit. We got Optimus, Bumblebee, Soundwave, and I think that's it. Oh, there's a Megatron. He fell over as well. And there's another Optimus they're working on, or is that the same? I don't think that's the same one. It's figure 4. Sorry, figure 4. So we've got Drift, Tarn, and Starsaber, and Optimus will be figure 4. And there's their Starsaber as well in prototype. So very cool figures in this cabinet here. Any comment on any of the Flame Toy stuff, guys?
I'm really digging the model kits.
Right on.
But that's also just me. I usually dig a lot of model stuff anyway.
Right on.
A little bit of clarification too. The 144 scale that you had a question on, that is very typical for a lot of like Gundam models. So I think that's kind of why they did it. And just the overall look of a lot of these figures is, like, as you said, kind of like anime, very like, anime looking. I think it's really kind of targeted to that market.
Sure.
I can't say why the Bumblebee looks the way it does. It certainly doesn't look like like the out of those four, one of these does not look like the others.
Yeah, it's your job. You need to explain the helicopter Bumblebee gun thing.
The Tarn looks amazing. Funny that the first official Tarn we get is a non-transforming toy, but he looks great.
I honestly think that will be the only Tarn officially that we get.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate, but it's kind of expected.
Maybe in 10 years we'll get the Decepticon Justice Division making its way into toy form and in some radical cartoon.
It'll be in a movie, but they'll be Autobots.
I think that Bumblebee actually is referencing the old Action Master with the little helicopter pack he had.
Oh, fuck you for finding out how that worked. Moving on. We've got the big thing to talk about now, and that was the items that they were teasing the entire time. This is Transformers War for Cybertron, the new trilogy. The first part of it is called Siege, and we've got a bunch of characters from this new trilogy. They are bringing back Micromasters. As Mike and I were talking before the show, they haven't changed them all that much. As it turns out, when you work in a small scale like Micromasters, there's not a lot you can do.
Well, here's what you can do. You can give us 2 instead of 4 to save costs and charge us the same amount.
Well, there'll be more. They'll cost more, Charles.
That's true, yeah.
Give it 5 years, Charles. $20 for 2 Micromasters. It'll be okay.
Yep. All right, so we've got 3 Micromaster teams that have been announced. We've got Race Car Patrol, which will include Road Handler and Swindler. We've got Battle Patrol, which will include Flak and Big Shot. And we've got Rescue Patrol, which will include Red Heat and Stakeout. We've got a Battle Master.
Stakeout was in Sins of the Wreckers.
Yes, he was. He was the cop car. Yep. The new gimmick for this initial first part of the trilogy is Battle Masters. If you've never heard of it, don't worry, it's new. If you want a reference point, they're Target Masters.
I believe we talked about them last week.
Shut up. This is a new show. Every show is someone's first show. So anyway, we've got Lionizer. The Battle Masters, we did see the first one last week, which apparently they talked about. I don't know. Charles and I were busy doing awesome shit. So Lionizer, he's a wolf, and he turns into like a sword with a blue flame on it. Looks kind of cool, actually.
Is he a wolf or a lion?
I'm going to go with wolf. With a big personality.
A wolf named Lionizer.
Yes,
okay.
He's a wolf, Charles. A wolf with a personality disorder.
Is this like how Ravage is a dog?
Yeah. Then we've also got some deluxes. We've got Ironhide, which Ironhide, I have seen non-stop digibashes on Ironhide into other characters. Apparently this is the most generic shape you can use. It's a brick with wheels.
He's also the most Cybertronian looking out of all the characters we're getting.
Probably. We've got Ironhide. We've got Hound, which I'm happy to see Hound. Hound will be fun. Mm-hmm. And we've got Chromia. Yeah, Chromia. And Chromia just got a figure a couple years ago, and it's not bad. She was a motorcycle. Now she's a car, so that's cool. Her figure doesn't look half bad.
Well, isn't this just the Moonracer without the Titan, like without the combining portions?
Looks like it. Looks like quite the backpack going on there. So yeah, I'm going to go with that. And we've got a really cool gimmick that they're doing here. It's called Deluxe Class Cog. This is the figure that came with, back in G1, Cog was the character that came with Fortress Maximus. What they're doing here is Cog is nothing but essentially a collection of guns or parts that you can disassemble the character and use to amplify the play pattern of Fortress Maximus. Or you can assemble them all into a deluxe class figure. I think it's a great idea and a really awesome play pattern. So you've already got Fortress Maximus chilling out. Why not add another figure to him to either bring the figure down from the shelf and now you play around with them some more, or you just add some more shit to them and make them awesome. They've also got one last figure here that is the leader class. And this one here is huge. It's Ultra Magnus. Ultra Magnus, Mike and I, before the show, once again, we're trying to figure out if this is the first time since G1 that it's happened. Officially, we know third party's done it a bunch. The first time since G1 that the cab of the Ultra Magnus truck has turned into a guy, and the armor for Ultra Magnus armor has been the trailer.
I was thinking about it a little bit, and if you're counting a repaint, the Ultra Magnus repaint they did from Overload from Armada could kind of count.
They also did do a white repaint of the Armada Bendy Prime into Ultra Magnus, but it was just a white cab. There was no armor.
Yeah, no trailer on that one.
That doesn't count.
Well, I know. I said it didn't count.
It doesn't count, Jeremy.
Although the RID 2001 Ultra Magnus that this is clearly modeled after in the vehicle mode, that is kind of a white figure with armor pieces on it.
Yes, and that's what we were talking about before the show, but I don't believe that the cab turns into a dude.
It does not.
It doesn't. Yeah, this is infinitely better than that.
Yeah, yes. So this is a really cool homage to the G1 figure. I'm not going to go and say that it's definitely Cybertronian, because it really isn't. It's a cool looking figure. I'll give them that. Now we've got a whole bunch of figures to talk about here. This is the new line that is going to come out later this year. Let's go to Charles. What do you think of War for Cybertron so far? Siege from War for Cybertron.
I'm a bit half and half on this. I think it's there's definitely some good things. I like new Micromasters. That's great. I would like to still have them be a 4-pack instead of 2-pack, but still, it's nice to have Micromasters. The Chromia looks good. The Cog looks good. That's a neat played pattern. And the Ultra Magnus is definitely that's a great return to that classic style, and it looks like a great update. And also the truck looks very relatively more Cybertronian than that Optimus Prime did. So those are all good. And the Lionizer, the Battle Master, that's also good. I like the Target Master play pattern too. So I think overall there's more positives than negatives, but some of the deluxe figures I think are the vehicle modes, just they don't scream Cybertronian to me, and I'm making air quotes. But like Hound and Ironhide, and we saw Sideswipe and Optimus Prime. You guys talked about it last week when we weren't there.
Oh, you listened?
I did listen. I listen to you guys when I'm not on the show.
I know.
But yeah, so all those guys, their robot modes look good, but their vehicle modes just look like slightly modified Earth cars. They're not really Cybertronian, I guess. I mean, that would be my one major complaint. Overall, I think and of course no Decepticons. That's the other thing. Where are all the Decepticons? Mm-hmm. I'd like to see it. I mean, in certain markets, or Japan in particular, people, most of the time kids care, or people in general only want the good guys. I want some love for the Decepticons, and especially when you're hyping up War for Cybertron. To have a war, you got to have two sides, at least two sides, right? I'll say it's a solid B, I guess, at this point.
All right, Mike, you want to jump in here?
Yeah, sure. So I like I guess I like the overall concept for the line. I like the overall kind of general just look of it. A lot of these are going to be a pass for me, though. Chromia, Ironhide, it's just not really doing it for me. I love the idea of Micromasters come back up, and I really, really want to like the Micromasters, but I have all the MicroMasters. I have a full set of the general MicroMasters, and it's not worth it to me to get a whole bunch more just for a little bit of extra articulation. If they did something else with it, maybe if they had some, I don't know, maybe if they had like a play set or something along with it.
If they brought back the bases.
Yeah, maybe I'd enjoy it more. But like I said, I already have those figures, and there's not enough of a change from them to really have me justify it in order to get the MicroMasters, which I think is probably one of like the big things of the line. The Target Masters, I'm hopeful for it. Not the biggest fan of Lionizer. It's like, okay, fine, whatever. But I'm hoping that the future Target Masters that come out have a little bit more to them than this. Was it the one that we saw last week, that Double Blaster? I forget his name, but
it's like Fire Blast or something
like that. Having a couple more of those would be kind of cool. So hopefully. The other figures that I haven't said anything about yet, Ultra Magnus, Hound, and Cog. Ultra Magnus, I really like the look of. It's a really, really cool looking figure. It is awesome looking. But I already have an Ultra Magnus. I have 2 Ultra Magnuses actually, and I don't need a third. Hound looks pretty cool. I might pick up Hound. Not quite certain yet. I have the last Hound I picked up was the Classics Hound, if I recall. It'd be good to get an update for him. The one I really am looking forward to is Cog. I have Fort Max. I love Fort Max. I love the overall look of Cog. Pretty damn cool. The parts for me part is not my favorite thing in the world, but that's also what Cog was when he was released back in the 80s. He was just a parts former thing that really just didn't move. It was just a bunch. It was like 5 separate pieces, and you just toss it all together. And I'm hoping that Six Gun. I'm actually hoping that the upcoming Six Gun will be a different mold and just different stuff. Since they don't need to worry too much about engineering with it, since it is a parts former, I think they can get away with maybe having some different pieces and having a different mold to it. And that'd be pretty cool. That's not my expectation, though. I'm sure it's going to be either a straight repaint or just a retool of it. So, but I'm still looking forward to both Cog and Six Gun. A couple things that I do really like about the line in general. The weapons for all the figures all look really good, and that's something we haven't really seen too much lately. Just nice, solid accessories and solid weapons that have some paint apps to them and look really neat, and they're not all gimmicky to the point where you can't really. They just look ridiculous. They just look just too big or too bulky for the figure. I know a lot of people have been mentioning that the detail on the figure, like the actual sculpted detail is kind of a hit or miss. And I think it is a bit of a hit or miss for me as well. On the renders and on the stock images, it does look kind of cool. And I like the kind of futuristic part of it. But seeing the actual pictures just under normal lighting, all that detail tends to disappear. And you're looking at a figure that doesn't look as good as it does just in the stock photos. And I know that's a thing with stock photography, but still, if the detail on this is going to be part of the thing that draws you to the figure, you should be able to see it in under different lighting situations. So that's a little bit of a disappointment. Overall, like I said, it's a little bit of a hit or miss. It's some good stuff and some bad stuff with it. Definitely looking forward to Cog, maybe on Hound as well. But I'm definitely I'm hopeful to see what other parts of the line come through and what else they want to do. I'm kind of hoping that they might do especially with Ironhide, they can do a ton of different bots with it. I mean, just looking at that, you can easily get a Ratchet, you can get a Cup. If you're looking at the original cartoon trilogy, you could probably get a Wheeljack from his cartoon mode or his cartoon alt mode, that little hover SUV van thing that he had. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so there's potential for a lot of cool stuff with it. It's just not quite there yet in my eyes.
Cool. Jeremy, what do you think of Siege?
I'm liking a lot of what I'm seeing. the Micromasters I'm all in on. I loved the G1 Micromasters. These, I mean, like you guys said, there's not that much difference, but they're still, I mean, I just really like them. Mine are all loose joints, and I played with them like crazy as a kid. So to have some new ones that look good, I'm happy. I do wish that they would have bases or enhance the play pattern somehow. I think that would be great. The Ultra Magnus, I'm also all in on. I mean, I love the 2001 RID designs, but this is my least favorite Transformer figure of any line, the original one. So having one that has the vehicle look that I think is so neat, and then it transforms into a G1 looking Ultra Magnus, and I can only hope that it's not the parts formery hell that the original 2001 Ultra Magnus was, because I mean that's my biggest issue. But I'm hopeful that it's not, and it's just the trailer transforms, or if it does have to be parts formery, it's not a million pieces, which is the problem with the other one. Hound is another one I'm excited about because we haven't gotten a lot of Hounds, and he's one of those 84 characters, and you would expect to get a lot of them. I think we had a Combiner Wars one. I mean, I never got that one. One thing we talked with Gabe, who was actually there for TFW. One of the things he mentioned to me was the wheels on some of these. Like, we complain about them, they're not being Cybertronian modes. He said the wheels on some of these actually will fold under to kind of give it a hover mode.
Oh, cool.
And I think that might help. And I could see Hound being one of those that probably does that, just because his wheels are so big.
Hound also, you can see on the pictures here, the official pictures, you can see some of that weathering we were talking about on the front of the vehicle mode.
Yeah, and I think this is where it's done well. Yeah, I mean, this is one where it's done in both modes, and a character like Hound that is a military character, you would kind of expect that. Cog, I can pass. I mean, I don't have a Fort Max, but as just a weapons pack type thing, I think that's a neat gimmick. I could see them doing a Decepticon version of this, in some kind of remold or whatever, but it seems like a neat way to get additional weapons out for other figures, but not making it seem like you're just selling weapons.
Yeah.
And Ironhide, I mean, it's super generic, but it's sufficient for an Ironhide, I think, but it's obvious he's going to be other things. I wish that they didn't have to put wheels on all these things, because the Ironhide, if they took out the wheels, it would look more like some of those original designs from the show. Or even if, you have to have wheels, have it completely hidden, with panels or whatnot. So it'll still roll on the table or whatever, but it gives the look that it's floating. But again, this might be one where the wheels fold under. And so I am on board with a lot of the stuff on this first set. My biggest complaint is the lack of Cybertronian looking vehicle modes. But other than that, I'm on board with a lot of this.
Cool.
And another thing that Gabe told me, I can't remember if this was in our recording or not, but he said that, like how this Ultra Magnus is from the 2001 RID design, they're going to be pulling other designs from other lines into this to kind of make it more like live up to the Generations name.
Oh, good.
So you might see an Armada mold or like an Energon mold or something just kind of be in here or homaged in here some way.
Oh, that's cool. That's neat.
Yeah.
Yoshi, does any of this speak to you?
Not in a good way. I will say that let me just focus on Ultra Magnus. To me, this guy is hyper textualized, hyper detailed. Like the way Todd McFarlane does a face is what this entire figure looks like to me. And it's the result for me is that it's just too busy, just way too busy. But that aesthetic is somewhat carried through most of these figures, so it fits in. It's just it's Macho Man, The Rock, blown up and exaggerated for me. And the tires aren't rubber. The end.
For me, I think the figures that they've shown off so far have a very generic appeal. I think it's warranted to remind people that the Power of the Primes and the, I guess, Prime Wars trilogy started off with Combiner Wars, and its repetitiveness got old real fast. So by the end of that trilogy, so Power of the Primes here, we're seeing a lot of really cool shit. Try to give these guys some time with this new trilogy. You know, yeah, so the molds are not like super fucking, you know, Cybertronian off the hop. Let them get into the second phase of this trilogy, and then let's talk about what they're doing or not doing. They're working with, you know, maybe some of these designs are left over from Power of the Primes. They couldn't fit them in, or they were working on them then.
Oh, you know, Chromia is.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's definitely one. Hound might have been one of those ones that was in the vote, although that was a leader class figure, so I don't know. Maybe this was in the, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Be patient with this line, because these trilogies that they've been doing, they never seem to start off well. They'll have one or two good figures and then they'll just kind of fucking die, right? But just give it some time. I like COG. I love the idea. I'm picking up COG. I'm picking up 6-Gun because we've heard that the 6-Gun is coming as well, because I have both Metroplex and Fort Max. I'm on the fence about Ultra Magnus. Like Mike said, I've got numerous Ultra Magni, and I really don't need another one, although I like the gimmick of the bot inside the armor, and that has not been done for a very long time, so I may want to just kind of experience that. The remaining figures that they've shown off so far, Optimus Prime, I mean, Charles and I really didn't get a chance to talk about Optimus Prime and Sideswipe from last week. Optimus Prime is a joke, in my opinion, but it's just the first figure. It doesn't. We know every single one of these trilogy pieces is going to have an Optimus Prime. Lord knows they could repaint this Ultra Magnus into Optimus Prime and just like send it out like that. And Sideswipe, I actually like Sideswipe. It looks fun. It actually looks pretty Cybertronian, you know? It looks like an early Lamborghini, but Lamborghinis looked fucking crazy right back in the day. I'm fine with it. It's not my cup of tea, but again, I'm moving away from mainline stuff anyway. So you don't need to get all you know, crazy on these people because it doesn't look Cybertronian because you were promised Cybertronian. It will be, I guarantee it. Let's move away from Siege. They did talk about the Hasbro product panel. We had that. Jeremy interviewed Gabe after he had been at the SDCC Hasbro product panel, and we're going to put it up as a special. But just to whet your appetite, here's a little clip.
That's cool. That it seems like with that and with the, I guess the MicroMasters, they're really pushing this like add-ons, like a weapon add-on type thing.
Yeah. Another thing that was kind of surprised me is they mentioned some of the, I think it's the Battle Masters, like so the small target master dudes.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to come with different effect parts, like the clear blue parts, and then on the X guy, I think, and then there is the effect parts on the double gun guy. I think that's Fire Blast.
Yeah, I think we saw that picture. That was an early preview.
Those can be those will be interchangeable throughout the whole series. So yeah, so that is something new for Transformers. I don't think I remember them including effect parts before.
Yeah, I mean we've seen the Target Master stuff before, but yeah, the effects, particularly with the ones that are removable and you can put the effects on other figures, I think that's a neat little gimmick that's pretty new.
Yeah, I think out of all the figures that was shown off, Ultra Magnus, I think, probably got the most not the most reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as it should. I don't know. Looks good to me. I need to look at the pictures again, or I can go to the show tomorrow and look at the actual figure.
Do you think he's going to be as parts formery as the original RID Ultra Magnus was?
When I look at the trailer, it looks kind of pretty long. So I didn't think that it will work exactly like the G1. But yeah, if you want to have something that is very articulated under a certain price point, I think that's the kind of sacrifice you have to.
I mean, it is neat that it does. You get the little white Optimus, even though it's not exactly like the Optimus Prime we're getting in the line, but it carries that gimmick from G1 with the white Optimus inside of the suit.
Yeah, I think part of the reason why it got such a reaction also.
All right, and I think that's finally it from SDCC this year. Back to you, Charles.
All right, we'll have more talk on the comics and media side on SDCC in alt mode, so be sure to check that out in a couple of days. All right, let's move on to some trips to the store. This is where we show off all the cool Transformer stuff we got this week. We do this as a video that we show on YouTube so you can see everything we got in beautiful high definition. And we'll also describe those things to you in loving detail. So without further ado, trips to the store.
Transmissions wouldn't be what it is today without the awesome support of our listeners. If you'd like to support our shows and enjoy the exclusive benefits that our donors get, please visit transmissionspodcast.com/support.
Yoshi, I'm going to start with you. You're looking bewildered.
You know, I can't purchase a piece of original art every week and show it on the show. I can't afford that. I don't have that kind of money. So I'm going to have to dig into the vault for something I've shown before, but honestly hasn't gotten a whole lot of credit. And I can't understand why. Because, as you know, duct tape is very important. It can be used for all kinds of things, like winning the Trips to the Store contest. Vote below. It's just basic gray duct tape with red Autobot insignias and purple Decepticon insignias. This is unopened. It's still sealed. It's awesome. The guys are angry with me.
You haven't used the duct tape?
I have like 87 rolls of this shit.
I just thought that we had gone back to an old Trip to the Store from like 2014.
The internet is welcome. That is all I have, Charles. Beat that, anybody.
Are you sure the tape's still good?
Yes.
It's duct tape.
They sent it to space.
All right. Thank you, Yoshi. Let's move on to Jeremy.
I got a couple comics. The first is not bagged or boarded, Yoshi, but it is Optimus Prime number 21. I wanted to get the retail incentive cover, which is the black and white version of this. This is the Kazama cover, I believe. Let me double check.
It is.
It is? Okay. I really like this cover, but I thought the black and white one was a lot more striking, but someone had beaten me to it. And then I also got courtesy of Stadium Comics up in Canada, but somehow shipped from the US. I'm not sure how they do that, but I got my, this is Alex Milne Unicron number 1, homaging the 86 Transformers movie. I really enjoy this too. So that is all I got this week.
Is there a preference to why one is bagged and boarded and one isn't?
That's how it came. I haven't had a chance to
unbag and board it.
No, yeah. Well, yes. This one will also be rebagged because it is not the best quality board. But I just haven't had time. I'm a busy man.
Your lack of attention to the hobby causes your products to suffer.
Do you want me to show you my stack of books that are not bagged?
It hurts. It physically hurts.
Yoshi, it's okay. He alternates them so the spine is going one way and then the other, so they don't all bend.
And then I put a Coke can on top of them just to make sure they stay in one place.
I don't understand. What is the world? Have I taught you? You guys can't touch any of my shit ever. When I die, no, it's not happening.
Speaking
Except
of
for
Mike,
I haven't seen his collection. He might.
let's see what you got. It's been a while since you've been on the show, so I imagine you got a few things to show off.
My turn, huh? Well, I do got a couple of things I can show. Hasbro Toy Shop was having a sale a while back, so I did pick up Ripper Snapper and Battle Trap, whatever, that guy. So those are always cool. I was at my Target yesterday, and I saw the Wave 3 part of the Prime Skies for the first time out back. I already had Braun, so kind of just completing that collection. But the big one that I had picked up a while back is this big guy.
Nice.
Thunder Manus from Make Toys. Picked him up just after they announced the God Bomber figure that they're making. This is not the one that has the God Bomber figure. Obviously, it is the one with just the armor pieces.
Nice.
Really cool figure.
Very cool.
Sweet.
All right, we'll come around to me next. I've got so I did go to TFCon with Daryl. You may have heard that unfortunately my TFCon trip was cut short, so I didn't get to pick up as much as I'd like to.
You know, some of us didn't get to go.
You had the opportunity. Move to the East Coast, Yoshi. You'll be closer.
That's your answer to everything.
So I'm not going to show off everything I got this week, but because I do have some backlog stuff because I've got the comics. So let's see. Yeah, so picked up a bunch of comics over the last couple of weeks. Lost Light number 20. We've got Optimus Prime number 21, bagged and boarded. We've got a couple of Unicron number 1. So this is the Alex Milne cover A. Then we've got I believe this is the James Reyes cover, the connecting cover, and also the Andrew Griffith retailer incentive cover. So my shop had those.
Optimus shrugged.
Yes.
Charles, I want to recommend a product to tape close those bags and boards.
I don't think duct tape is appropriate for that, is it?
As opposed to nothing, yes.
I also got the Stadium Comics variant directly from the man himself, Alex Milne, and he did sign it right there. And
I don't think that's his signature. I can't read it.
And I paid $20 Canadian with no shipping, so I think I got a deal. I did get ones for everybody else too, although I think Yoshi didn't want one, so I think we're actually sending that one to another person. So, all right, now I got some gifts from TFCon from Donatreon. So Mystic Marvels, he gave me a couple. So these are Rick and Morty minifigures. Lego minifigures. I didn't put them together yet. They're Charles complete at the moment. I will open them. Also, I think this is Reverse Flash. I'm not really sure what this guy is. And you guys probably can't see on the video.
Oh, I can see this face thing. Yeah. Okay.
Also, another gift was from another Donatreon, DJ Ronin. Gave me that Optimus Prime Christmas ornament.
Holy shit, dude.
Thank you.
First a $20 KC Collar book, and now a free...
Well, I traded him for the Titans Return Ram Horn that I found at Five Below. So, wasn't quite free. It was $4.
You got screwed, Ronan.
You still got the better end of the deal.
You're welcome. I fucking priced that.
Okay, so what else did I get? Okay, I've got this cool button from David K. It is signed by David K. right there. And yeah, let's get a sample. Turn it on.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
No.
Excellent. Terrorize. No. Side guns. Yes.
Very cool. Thank you, David K. Now, this is from Daryl. Daryl picked up a Battle Trap for me. And Battle Trap doesn't come with any weapons, but I did at my local Target. I finally found Wave 2 Titan Masters. So he's got a Alpha Trion landmine and an Alchemist Prime submarauder. So he's packing heat. This battle trap. So that's all I'm going to show. Oh, let me. I've got the cards too. So I've got Onyx, Road Trap, and Megatronus Battle Slash here. That's all I'm going to show off today. And I'll let Daryl bring it home with the massive haul I'm sure he's got from TFCon. And thanks, Daryl, for picking up that battle trap for me.
No problem. I'm sure you'll pay me for it at some point.
Oh, didn't I?
I am going to also save some stuff as well. I got a lot of stuff, and pretty sure I pissed off James Roberts. Okay, so my books that I have here. This is okay. Optimus Prime number 20. This is the Kazama Primal and Megatron cover. This is a pretty sweet fucking cover. This is Optimus Prime 20. This is the Casey Collar cover. I'm really liking this series of covers. This is Optimus Prime 21, same cover Jeremy got, and I also got the Casey Collar cover for that. This is Lost Light number 20. This is cover B, the Jack Lawrence Starsaber and Cyclonus cover, but mine's also featuring a signature by Mr. James Roberts. This is my Unicron number 1 covers. This is the regular cover. This is signed by Alex Milne as well. This is the Andrew Griffith color. This one I like quite a bit. It's pretty awesome. This one here these are 2 Stadium Comics ones, both signed by Alex and Josh Perez. This cover's awesome. I like it quite a lot. Yeah, so I picked up 2 of those. This comic, I haven't read it yet, but I'm looking forward to reading it. This is Jimmers and Emmers comic. They made a comic, and it's the Rejuvenation Electronic Saviors comic. And picked up that. That is Jimmers and Emmers on the cover. They are now robots fighting cancer cells in your body.
You could argue that they're robosexuals.
It's true. So I picked that up. That's pretty awesome.
Did they sign it?
Cool.
Awesome for Jimmers and...
That's cool.
Yep.
Goes to cancer research.
No, I forgot to get them to sign it. Yeah.
They'll be
and
in
lastly,
Chicago.
I'll take this out of the glareness. This is my commission from Matt Moyland. He did Scarlet Spider on my Scarlet Spider. So he did that for me.
I saw he posted that on Twitter.
Yes, after he begged and was after me to send him a picture of it because he never took him one at the con. So yeah, that was that. That's it for my comics. I did do a little bit of shopping. Like I said, I'll hold on to it. This I bought from the Duggernaut. This is Classics Skywarp, the one Seeker I was missing out of all of those Seeker molds, because he came with Ultra Magnus and was a pain in the ass to find. So I picked that up from Doug. I picked up Trash Talk and Cogwheel. I have that gun for Trash Talk, and I never actually got one of them. So now I did. Got a really good deal on it. It was $40. So pretty good. $20 a figure. This was given to me by the very awesome Third Sergio. This is his a customized class figure. So this is customized by Third Sergio.
Did he sign it?
And he didn't want it anymore. So
it's his art. He should have signed it.
No. So Sergio, if you ever want this back, let me know. I'll give it back to you. But it'll stay here for now. It's a Nemesis Prime or Toxitron, I guess they made it. Yeah, Toxitron.
Yeah.
It looks pretty good. Yeah, he did a good job. I've transformed it back and forth. Yeah, works well. Good job. I got one of these buttons. Actually, I got 2 of them, but it's signed by David K as well. Let's take it for a test drive. That's okay. We know what it does.
My soundboard can't wait.
Yeah, I'm going to show this one so I can put it away. This is a pretty cool item that I picked up. So I ended up being first in line for this item at the one of the booths there. This is, I haven't opened it yet because I don't know whether I'm going to or not. This is the Perfection Series Hellion. This is the, what are they calling him? Convert Ops version of Cliffjumper. And it's been signed by the designer. Let's see if I can get that on the camera there. There you go. And because he was there, and he was also doing, this is not a print. This is a actual like piece of art. He drew them there at the table, and then he painted them there at the table. This is watercolored. So it's done. Excuse me. It's also numbered because they only did 9 of these at TFCon. So you may not be able to see it. It's kind of blurry on my screen here, but mine's number 1 of 9. So that was pretty awesome.
Nice.
And he obviously signed it there, and then once again signed it on the back. Hey, Daryl. So yeah, it's not a print. It's a piece of original art. For the guy. It's supposed to be, he asked me if I wanted it to cover the figure or not, but you might be able to see it, but there are actually lines here on the back here. So you could actually fold this thing up and wrap it around the box of the figure. And I'm like, no, don't bend it. It's art. I'm going to keep it like that, and I'll put it in a frame or put it in an envelope or something. It's going to be weird finding a frame for that weird size paper, but whatever. But yeah, so I picked that up. That was pretty cool to get a numbered item like that. Excuse me. But the toy itself isn't numbered. So yeah, but that's all I'm going to show this week. I got a bunch more stuff. So.
All right, we're back from our trips to the store, and let's move on to some convention news.
We have footage from the original BotCon conventions being uploaded to YouTube, and this is being done by the original organizers, John and Carl Hartman. This is pretty cool. There's a channel they've created called the BotCon Video Archive, and they've put up the some of the original stuff from 1994 right now. Take a look at what else we have. Yeah, it looks like some 95 highlights, mostly stuff from 94, which was the first BotCon, and it's really cool to see some of the stuff. Also, 90s fashions for woo. Next thing we have is with TFCon Toronto out of the way, TFCon Chicago tickets are for sale. So go to tfcon.com/tickets and you can sign up. The hotel block has been available for a while. So if you're going to be going, get on those tickets and then stay tuned. I think the Transmissions meetup was a success in Toronto, despite Charles having to bow out early. So I think we're going to try to do it again in Chicago. So that is all our convention news this week.
All right, well, let's finish up the show with some feedback.
So if you've got feedback you'd like to leave us here at Transmissions, head over to transmissionspodcast.com/feedback. There you will have multiple ways to leave us feedback, but we are really excited about voicemail. So please feel free to leave us a voicemail so we can hear your sexy pipes on our show. And speaking of voicemail, this week, that's what we've got. We've got a voicemail from our Patreon friend, Dr. Pants. Roll that beautiful bean footage, Jeremy.
Hey guys, it's Dr. Pants, and I've got more feedback for you. I just want to say, number one, thanks for helping make my wife and my first TFCon a really memorable experience by putting on the Donatreon meetup. We got to meet a lot of new friends, and we had a really great time meeting all of you, so I just want to say thank you for that. I did have a great time at TFCon Toronto, but it prompted a question in my mind. At the third-party panel, there was all kinds of new stuff being released, a lot of Menasors, which, okay. But I noticed they're doing, finally, a third-party Death Saurus, and it made me think about all the characters that we haven't got a third-party figure for that I'm surprised we haven't. Like, why hasn't there been a Death Saurus yet? We've had, a Masterpiece Starsaber. We've had a third party Leo Kaiser, a third party of the Brain Masters and everything. And it was surprising to see they finally did a third party Deathsaurus. But what other characters do you think should have been done by third party or represented or would benefit from a cool masterpiece or third party style figure? Personally, I would like to see maybe the 2001 Robots in Disguise Optimus Prime get a third party figure. I think that would that could be a really cool figure if done right. Anyway, guys, I look forward to your answers, and thanks again for everything. Love the podcast. Keep it up. Can't wait to see you all again sometime.
Well, thank you so much for that, Dr. Pants. That was awesome. I really appreciate you calling in and leaving us that message. I think I speak for all the G1 guys when I say, who the fuck is Deathsaurus?
He was a G1 character.
No, you don't. You don't, Yoshi. You don't.
Gentlemen, the question is, what figure do you want third party to tackle? Daryl.
Well, I think he asked a different question, but I'll answer yours. I think I would like to see a third party tackle a run amok and runabout. I think that would be really cool. I've been campaigning for those guys for a little while now, and I don't think they'd be too difficult. But yeah, they're fairly easy to do. They're really early G1 stuff, and yeah, I'm still beating on the drum for those guys.
Charles, did you get to meet Dr. Pants?
I did. I met Dr. Pants and I met Mrs. Dr. Pants too, and they were awesome.
Does he look like he sounds? Because sometimes you have this image of somebody in your head, and it's not what you see.
I guess he looked great. He looked good. I guess that looked. I didn't have a preformed image in my head, so
he looked about as good as a guy who has a fake doctorate can look.
Listen, don't all you guys have doctorates now?
No,
I just have masters.
Oh yeah, you gave us doctorates. That's right.
I didn't get one.
Right.
Charles, who's your pick?
I'd like to see a couple of I'm a big comics guys. I'd like to see some of the comics figures get tackled, like old school Scrounge, Emirate Zeron, new school maybe Rung, maybe Sunder, that the recent More Than Meets the Eye bad guy, Rack and Ruin from the Wreckers, the two the fused conjoined twin bots guys. Yeah, I guess I gave more than one, so that's a bunch. That's enough.
All right, Michael.
I'd like to see a couple of the maybe like Armada Energon or Cybertron figures kind of get one. Like Cybertron Prime was a really strong looking design that I think suffered a little bit in terms of articulation. So something like that in third party would be pretty awesome. If they did something that combined with them as well, the what was it? The Wing Saber figure, I think was the Cybertron, the big like white kind of Thunderbolt looking jet they did. That combined with them, seeing that combiner in third party would be pretty awesome.
Mr. Jeremy.
Well, he mentioned the RID 2001 Optimus Prime, which I would love to see. But also the Magnus that goes with it, where we mentioned in the toy news that we're getting an official Magnus that takes some cues from that design. But that design, like that Magnus and Prime combined into, I think it was called like Omega Prime or something. But I would love to see a third party tackle both. Have the Magnus that is not nearly as parts formery, have the Prime, and have them also be a combiner to gotcha. Make the massive Prime.
Well, myself, somewhat like Daryl, I've been advocating for the human figures, the human characters from G1. I would love to see, at the very least, G.I. Joe-sized representations of our human people. I don't know why. I just think that would be fucking awesome. And with that, Dr. Reginald C. Pants Esquire IV, thank you so much for doing 110% effort and leaving us a voicemail. We all appreciate that. And Charles, that's it for feedback this week.
All right, and that'll take us to the end of the show. Thanks everyone for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Later.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for listening to Transmissions. Remember, you can help support the show by donating to us directly via Patreon or PayPal. Once you become a donor, you will receive access to donor-only goodies, like donor-only contests, listening to us record transmissions live, and getting transmissions swag at 20% off. You can find links for this at transmissionspodcast.com/support. Subscribing to us on Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Play is also a great way to support us here at Transmissions. Every subscription we get helps us get better noticed on those services. Leaving us a comment and 5-star review doesn't hurt either. Be sure to come chat with us on Discord. You will find a link for Discord at transmissionspodcast.com/discord. And of course, you can always send us an email at feedback@transmissionspodcast.com. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again next week.
She's not.
Look at the pictures.
Her jet. Yeah, her.
I see what you're saying. Yes. Okay. Never mind. All right. Let's edit that out. Mike.
And done.
Yoshi, does any of this speak to you?
Not in a good way. And we've been going at this for almost an hour and 15. Do you want my thoughts?
Charles, you got the last word on Siege.
You came to me already. I was the first word.
I will have the last word.
Terrorize.
Yes.
Dear God. When I die, I'm going to find who invented the soundboard and just beat the ever-living hell out of him.
That's not a soundboard. I'm sure you'll see what that is at the store.
Oh, God.
It's not from me either.
Yes.
Please.
Yes.
Okay, come on. We got to do the show.
Guys, you're about to experience a 20-minute intro that took us 20 minutes to write. I hope it lives up to that expectation that I just said.
It won't.
No,
don't worry.
No,
it won't.
Better not take 20 minutes
No,
to say.
it's a 5-second intro that took us 20 minutes.
Good luck, Charles.
Welcome. Shut up.
I'm going on mute.
Gabe, after he had been at the SDCC Hasbro product panel, and we're going to put it up as a special just to whet your appetite. Here's a little clip.
Hi, I'm Gabe. I was at Emerald City Comicon, or wrong Comicon. Never mind. Fucked it up. You know, Apple is not a saint, and especially recently they have been rather, what's the word? Their boobish dickery has gone on long enough.
God damn, look at you, Charles.
Skinny C.
This is the new Charles, I guess.
Yeah. This is Skinny C. It's already midnight. And you, what is it, like 9 o'clock for you over here right now? Yeah, that's what I thought. So quit it with the shit.
Mike's bringing the heat.
Look, I'm not going to piss off Mike because he edits. So as long as he's bagging and boarding his comics properly, we're going to be okay.
All the stuff I intend to keep is bagged and boarded properly. I have a pile of stuff I need to either give away or give to the comic store, which is not bagged and boarded.
Just in a pile or in a stack by the mulcher.
It's on a rickety shelf above the mulcher.
You fucking Neanderthals.